Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, we from the sixth group will present material about life and development of insect population. Before starting, we will introduce the members of our group. The first one is myself, Devi Syifa, with the last student number is 083. Then there is Muhammad Hilmy, with student number is 088. And the last is Fatihah, with student number is 089.
The topic of presentation is the one of insect population, the second, insect role in agriculture and life, the third is factor affecting insect population.
So the first topic is insect population. Insects are the most numerous group of animals on the planet. Nearly 80% of the total number of animals on Earth are insects. A total of 1,413,000 species have been identified and recognized. More than 7,000 new species are discovered almost every year. This can happen because insects manage to survive in a variety of habitats, having a high reproductive capacity and the ability to eat different types of food, also the ability to save themselves from their enemies. So the second topic, insect role. The role of insects in life cannot be ignored because of their number, which dominates the animal species. In general, insects are seen as harmful organisms, especially in agriculture. However, insects still have a positive role for life. So the negative role of insects. First, as a plant eaters. These are the examples of insects as a plant eaters. There are armyworms in corn leaf, also grasshopper in corn leaf, and plant hoppers or stem borers in paddy field. Second is factor of viral disease in plant. The examples are Nephthetics virescens that carry tumoral disease and transmission of peanut, which is broom phytoplasma by Orosius argentatus, and PVY by aphids. As for the positive role, first, as a pollinator, as you can see on the screen, bees are the only insect that when pollinate do not cause adverse side effects to plant. Second, as a decomposer, this insect will eat the plants that are old so that it restores nutrients in the soil and makes the soil fertile. Example of insects as decomposers are termites. Third, as a predator and parasitoid. So for examples are mantis eating a ladybug and a tobacco hornworm that has been killed by Cotacea larvae. The fourth, insect bioindicators are animals that are very sensitive or responsive to changes or stresses in an ecosystem in which they live. For example, is Odonata larvae in aquatic environmental that has good quality. And for the last positive role is producer of useful materials for humans. So, for examples are honey from bee, silk thread by Bombyx mori, and some insect that can be consumed by human or animals.
The next topic is internal factors. Internal factors are factors that come from within the insect. Number one is sex ratio. In breeding, insects will produce offspring in the form of insects that are male and or female. Generally, the sex ratio is comparable, but if there are more female insects, the insect population will also increase. Example, most insects have a sex ratio 1:1. Hypothenemus hanpei has a sex ratio 1:59, and Sayicetia nigra and Sayicetia coffee have a sex ratio 0:infinity, which means no male species found. Number two is Caperidian and fecundity. Caperidian may be closest to fertile or prolificacy is the magnitude of the ability of a newborn insect Fecundity is the ability of female insect to produce eggs. According to the laws of nature, the more insects have a high level of fecundity. The insects also have natural conditions that can complicate their lives due to competition. There are three kinds of competition here. Number one is food competition. For example, warehouse pest 3 volume SP and Cytophilus SP who have limited food in an empty warehouse. Number two is space competition. For example, a locomotion hall is inhabited by 2 or more larvae. Then the space for movement will be narrow. Number three is competition for shelter. For example, competition between individuals in a colony of Campognothus pensylvanicus or wood ants. Number three is life cycle. The life cycle of metamorphosis is divided into two types, namely complete metamorphosis or holometabolous, and incomplete metamorphosis, hemimetabolous or paurometabolous. Insects with short life cycles have a high egg-laying frequency. Example, complete metamorphosis as in the orders of Lepidoptera, Coleoptera, and Diptera. Incomplete metamorphosis as in the orders Orthoptera, Hemiptera, and Homoptera. Number four is insect development period. If insects are accustomed to consuming food with sufficient nutrients, such as the fulfillment of carbohydrates and protein, the insect body weight will be greater and the life cycle period will be faster. Example, Imago Helopeltis tephora can live for 5 to 10 days. Imago Cytophilus oryzae sp can live for 3 to 5 months. And the last is self-defense ability. Insects are able to protect themselves and have high mobility to avoid enemy attacks in order to maintain their survival. Example, Vespa affinis, which has a sting or poison, Leptocoryza oratorius, which emits a pungent odor, and Bactrocera dorsalis that can mimic.
The next material is external factors. The kind of external factor are climate, soils, host plant, and biological factors. The first is climate. There are 5 of climate. There are temperature effects, the effects of humidity, effect of rainfall, and effect the light and influence of the wind. We can conclude that about climate that and insects can live in tropical temperature. They are 18 to 26 temperature. Second is soil. Soil structure and moisture have a big influence of pest life. Low structured soils with the high organic matter content and the adequate moisture can support the development of pests that live in or pests of their live in the soil. Example, wood locusts and the snail lay their egg in the loose soil. Second is earthworm for the formation of the pupil in hiding during the day need loose soil. The third is host plant. Host plants are the plants that provide food and the shelter for pest organisms. The example is tobacco beetles, which the warehouse pest can live only 35 to 39 days when fed with peanut meal, where when given dry tobacco leaf, it can reach 42 to 63 days. The fourth is biological factors. The principle of biological factor is the organisms that are in the pest environment. Biological factor can be animals, bacteria, fungi, and the virus that inhibit the proliferation of pests by eating them, parasitizing, becoming pests, or competing for food and living space.
So that's all that we can present to you. Feel free to comment by asking about the material. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.